Men have to stop being shamed for being a man. If someone don't respect your manhood, bounce. You cannot be sitting up here playing this game thinking that you're going to explain anything to anybody. You cannot explain something to anybody that's going to disrespect you. You can't. Real men are real men. The true definition of a real man. This seems to be a little confusing to a lot of people today. Don't know why, don't know the reasons. I just know that it's an attack definitely on the masculinity of men today. Um, I'm not saying that every man needs to operate the same. That is far from the truth. But men do have to get back to being actual men. And one of the reasons I say that is because we done lost creativity. Um, we're not seeing things being built. We're not seeing a lot of things. We're seeing a lot of boys grow up looking at their dads as if they're obsolete, like they're no longer there, like they was just made just by their mom. And it's sad because when you look at the way boys are acting today, we seeing a lot of boys committing heinous crimes. When you watch the news, all you see is a lot of men today, well, not men, boys, growing up in the inner cities, and that's what they putting across the news. And it's sad because we seeing a lot of crime with murders, robberies, gang violence. You seeing so many things that is leading men into the negativity path that make them think that they don't have a way out. And I'm not going to say that it's a reason for that. You know, you can see how everything is kind of going on. If you look at, they show the statistics of men that are actually raising kids from women, from girls that end up growing up into womanhood, you know, and boys going into manhood. And it was not far off from a two-parent household. And this is not a thing of bash. This is a thing of order. Like men have a different perspective. We're more realistic, and the reason why I say that is because we think like morally. We think so realistic to the point we know that if we walk somewhere or we go out somewhere, the likelihood of us getting to something. Women don't tend to think like that. This is probably why you see a lot of women that's tend to go out and they go out here and they go places and they dress all types of way. Like they put on whatever they want to put on, just so they can make themselves feel as though that they're wanted. They have the most outlandish things on. You even see it on social media. You cannot go past any clips on social media without somebody doing a dance, and then after the dance or in the middle of the dance, you turn around, you end up seeing what they did. You know what I mean? What they got. You know what I mean? And when I'm talking about what they got, from the chest to the thighs to the butt, like, and it grab it. You know, men are moved by that. It is what it is. Even when we try to turn it off, we still move by it. But we're not moved by it to the point where as though we do anything for it. And so when I talk about real men, I don't think there's a set thing of what we consider a real man. We might say, well, this is how my grandpa raised me. This is a real man. Well, that's all your perspective of what you think a real man is. A real man to me is a man that is actually handling his responsibility. And I'm not talking about his responsibility of taking care of all the bills and all, making everybody feel comfortable. I'm talking about he making sure his kid is good. He making sure he's taking good care of himself so he can be able to be around. I think we got to change the whole setup of what a real man is when it comes to taking care of the financial abilities today. Because if you base everything off of being a real man, what's going to happen is you're going to set yourself up for failure. Anybody that talks about being a real man, they make everything about how much money they spend. Their women don't have to work. Um, this whole thing, women don't have to work. It seems to be one of those areas of life that you feel as though you need to pump your, you know what I mean, pump your muscles about. It's not. You see that today. It's no brownie points in that. What happened is today's time, when you have women working, making just as much money or more, it's not a flex no more. I'm gonna tell you why it's not. When you look at yourself as a real man, on quote, that you thinking you're a real man because you make sure nobody is able like to worry about anything, which means they don't have to worry about real life. They just worry about making sure just home is cool. What happened is you set yourself up today, not back in the day. I'm talking about today for a downward slope because what's going to happen is if you see it now, you see more and more women leaving their men and they having relationships when their men are out and about and doing their thing. And I think reason why that is because boredom sets in. Once a person has a lot of idle time, this is something that a lot of men don't think about because we be thinking they're being a real man, making sure she don't have to do anything. She could just use her day like a kid do. Now, this is why a lot of dudes are on child support, and women are living off of that alimony. Alimony is also a killer, big time, because you're not only paying alimony, but you also paying child support. This is the thing about this whole stay home. That is the biggest setup, especially for men. You think it's not? You tell me it's not a failure for you because you will notice any arguments happen that will be thrown up in your face, and you end up realizing at that time, damn, I done created something. It's the same thing as having a kid. You buy a kid everything that they want. You not buy them that one thing. All of a sudden, you become the worst parent in the world. Why? Because there's nothing put in place to be able to protect you from your own self. Because if you always spending, you think just because you got it, you're going to get it. Who's going to protect you from you to know when to stop something? Nobody. You're going to have to stop yourself. This is why you see so many kids ungrateful. You see so many women out here ungrateful because it's too many things that are being done to take that take away from the other person to have to work for something, you know. And I don't care what nobody say. Like you can look on social media and see somebody talking about, but that's what they do for their woman. But this is the funny part though. If you notice anything that they do, they emulate everything around cash. They say cash is everything. Well, this is the sad part. Once cash is everything to you, you're going to realize that's everything that you are able to give. Other than that, they're not looking at you to fall in love with you. They're looking at you for a benefit. That's it. And it will become non existent for you as an adult man to see that you are not benefiting off of anything when they're going because your end of the stick is going to still have to be held up. Definitely will. Of course, we'll make sure that you have to do your part and their part is null and void, you know. And I'm speaking from experience. At the end of the day, it feels good to talk bad, talk talk down on people. This is what a real man's supposed to do. You're gonna set yourself up for failure, you know. And I hate seeing a lot of boys, a lot of young men today are starting to wake up. I'm peeping that now. They're seeing, sorry, they're starting to see things a lot differently. And it is not that they're seeing it differently. They seeing the faults, the downside of how men operated before. It wasn't that they operated bad. It's that it was beneficial for someone to stay home. It sounds good. It sounds good on the ear. It sounds good to be able to brag. But what's the brag about when you're the one sitting up there with a comfortable life, but your life is not so comfortable because you're killing yourself to the point where though you're not even able to spend time with your kids. That's one of the special things right now that I have that I realize as me being a man, I had to realize that some stuff you have to stop doing. because you can't encourage bullish. You can't encourage someone to think that they can get over on you. There come a time where you have to say, stop. I got to put an end to this. I'm aware about this. Anybody can tell you that you're sorry as a man. But when they explain it to you why you sorry, you find out, wait a minute, I'm sorry because you can't use me? How does that make sense? I'm sorry because I'm considered broke. A man is considered broke when he have his house, his cars, but he's not doing for the other party, but he's considered broke. And sometimes they don't even consider that broke. They just say he's stingy. I don't like stingy men. Come on, man. Anybody knows out here that's a man. Money management is everything. Not only everything, it's key to being able to make it through life. If you don't have money management under your belt, then your priorities going to be screwed. That's why you see a lot of men today going far in life, and then all of a sudden you see the ones that like to splurge, especially splurge for the gram. They want to wine and dine. Every time you look, they out. They doing this and that. They in the Bentleys. They flexing. They end up being taken down. And when you see them being taken down, it's normally something with scamming, or they had a lot of money. And what happened was it dwindled away because they bought so many damn things that brought in no money. That money just plummeted. And that's one thing I had to learn. At one time, I remember, oh man, I remember having five cars, in the driveway. And I remember that it was the fifth car, and then it started acting up. And I don't know what happened, but I think something hit me maybe that week. I don't know, it was like a reality check. I was like, damn, my bank account just wasn't feeling right, wasn't looking right. And I was just looking how much money I was just spending on just dumb stuff, just dumb. And you don't realize these things till you actually get into your own head and start really like really talking to yourself, because that inner self is going to tell you that you're messing up. You know you're messing up. You know you're messing up. Because a lot of times when we swipe that debit card, it feels good, or that credit card, it feels good. But what don't feel good is paying all those bills. It feels good to pay something that benefits you, but it don't feel good paying for anything that don't benefit you. And this is one of the things that men have to learn to wake up and realize and be able to understand that in this life that we live, you cannot walk around here and let anybody shame you into doing dumb stupidity things and giving your livelihood up. Can't. You are not born out here just be taking care of people. You got to make sure yourself is good first. And then if you got kids, you take care of them. But at the end of the day, if you have another significant other and it's not mutual, like y'all making sure y'all both are looking out for each other, not somebody is always, it's not a thing of calling 50-50. Like there's no, look, man, no such thing, ain't nobody doing 50-50 and all these things. But I'm not going to be sitting up there paying a whole mortgage and you're making the same amount of money as me. You able to sit there and just take your money and throw it in the bank? No, them days are over. Because when things go bad, all of a sudden you're looking at this is what you was accustomed to. So you able to walk away with your money. Go ahead and get an apartment or another house under your name. Pay all those bills. This is the thing that guys have to also wake up and realize. When you leave a woman, she will pay all her bills faithfully. Might not like it, might hate it, might dread it, might be looking for somebody to take up that slack to also pay her bills. But at that time, the months, that year or year or two, she will make sure that all her bills are paid, even if they're late. Trust me, if you've been around enough women, they will use you to their benefit, even if they do like you. It's sad to say this, but I do notice this. When someone really, really is feeling you, they don't have the energy and the effort to actually ask you blatantly for money because they know that's not your, that's not your place to pay that. But if you out here in the world and you playing around these streets, you're going to encounter that a lot. Believe me. It's funny when you, as a man, you settle down and you start messing with one joint and you really feeling her and she feeling you, she won't ask you for much. Because she's like, yo, I want to make sure he good. But at the same time, money will play a part. Don't think it won't play a part. You're not just walking around here just thinking you're not going to pay anything. Like, at the end of the day, I understand, like, because you do want to make people feel good, but at the same time, it's about the experience when it comes to money, not about what you can do for me. And this is one thing about men that we have to understand. Not we, not all of us. Some of us do understand this part. But I think for the younger, I think they are starting to wake up. It's normally the middle age and older, they're struggling with that because if you grew up wanting that love, you tend to be, I don't, you tend to be a little bit more kinder hearted. You know what I mean? Have a more of a giving soul. Not to say that you're going to be taken advantage of like that, but you tend to think that you always have to put out and you're buying people's energy. But what you're doing is you actually set yourself up. You're setting yourself up for someone to look at you as, well, yo, you did this for me in the beginning, so you got to uphold this. You have to. That's why you see a lot of dudes start struggling a good 3 months in. It's the reason why. You start off, you're going to have to keep that up. So take it from me. When you start out with people, like if you can't do simple stuff, one thing I can tell you, one of the best relationships that you're going to end up having in your life is when you meet up with somebody. It's not dinner. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, man, shit is overrated. Like, it's overrated. Like, all this dinner stuff, I did it. It's overrated. I'm going to tell you why it's overrated. It's overrated because you setting yourself up because they like, I'm hungry. Well, shit, eat before you meet up with me. Because what y'all going to fall into the category of, once you meet a person, you first meet them, you think, well, I met my wife that way. How long ago? Because today's era, if a joint is hungry, she would hit you up, talk nice things to you, and she will meet up with you. And now you're going on a dinner date, and now you done spent damn near 100 or more. He would say 100 ain't nothing. Shit. 100 don't go far in the grocery store like he used to, but 100 and above still something. See, that's another problem. People be looking at social media too much. They start thinking somebody giving somebody 5,000 ain't nothing. How many out here got 5,000 in their bank account? Make you kind of wonder where all this talk come from. You notice the slowdown didn't happen on social media when it came to the PPP loans. They'll slow down. It ain't the same ballpark no more. You ain't seeing cats out here just sitting up there flashing money like they used to. Remember, we used to see a lot of things before. You seen a lot of dudes driving around in Bentleys. Yo, be real. How many times you done seen somebody driving in something that costs more than a house? And you like, damn, cats out here living. And then all of a sudden they get taken down. Just had a rapper, Sean Kingston. You seen his mansion in Miami? I think that was Miami. Well, guess what? Him and his mom got to serve 10 years. Why? Tax evasion and also money fraud. And also got sued by a dealership having these exotic cars and chains and stuff that they not his mom that didn't, I don't know everything that she did, but she's part of the fraud. When you look around today, men have to stop being shamed for being a man. If someone don't respect your manhood, bounce. You cannot be sitting up here playing this game thinking that you're going to explain anything to anybody. You cannot explain something to anybody that's going to disrespect you. You can't. Real men are real men. And to give you a definition, I can't. You know why? Because I'm a man that takes care of my son. I make sure he good. I'm going through a divorce. But so what? Who cares I'm going through a divorce? I would say it affects me, but not really. You know why? Because I came into this world alone and I grew up and I always lived by myself. So it actually is fun to me to be able to live by myself again. I get peace. So being a real man is making sure you good. And then making sure your kid good. Because I don't care what nobody tell you. If you're not good, what your kid gonna look up to? You can't go take care of your kids and be living on the street or in a box where so they have no way to get in contact with you, but you'll pop up with money. It's one of the things in this world you do not want to play with. You do not want to play with your manhood and what it takes to be a man out here of survival skills. If you're going to do something in this lifetime, you have to do it efficiently and you have to be smart while you're doing it. All right? Real men stand up.